When I started to apply for jobs, customizing CV and cover letters is super important, but it takes forever. So I started wondering how I can use AI to help me in this. I researched multiple tools, but they seemed gimmicky and they were overpriced. I was wondering if I can use regular AI chatbots like ChatGPT or Claude, but they are very limited in what they can do. But I did figure out a better system which uses Claude Code. So in this video, I want to show you exactly how I build it and explain to you why the file access of Claude Code is a complete game changer. And I will also give you a demo of applying for a specific job post and show you how the system with Claude Code helps me automate the process from many hours to be able to apply in just 1 or 2 hours with very specific targeted application. So when I started my job search, I knew that customizing the CV is, in today's age, really important. I was already using Claude Code for building my app, which was obviously for coding. But I had a light bulb moment because I realized that when I'm writing that app code, apart from the code, Claude Code is also writing the documentation, which is actually just a text file. If it can edit text documents for my app documentation, it can also edit my CV. Why should I pay for another services, AI services, if I already have subscription that I'm paying for Claude Code? So I had this first experiment in my mind. I can take my original CV, which was not created with AI, and give it to Claude Code to basically start customizing it. But first, I knew that I need to improve my base CV. And I think I used principle which proved for me later very useful, and that is to give AI good quality guidelines of how to do things. I found before a video on YouTube from an ex-Google recruiter who talked about like specific ways how to make a good CV. So I took the transcript of that video, gave it to Claude, and asked Claude, hey, analyze what this person is saying in this video and make guidelines based on her advice. And Claude created a text file with guidelines based on this video, how to make a good CV. And then I took my previous CV, which I did manually without AI. I gave it to Claude and I said, hey, this is my old CV. Take it and apply the guidelines that you created to this original CV. And it did. I was really impressed at first how well it applied what this person was talking in the video to my own CV. And it not just created that, it created a text file of the CV, but then it also generated a PDF out of it. But there for sure were some issues. First of all, it made up a lot of stuff about my successes in the previous jobs. So it was not really based on true. It took that advice of that video and like blew it up, like made up a lot of stuff about my past. So I said, hey, this is a lot of stuff is not accurate. You need to interview me and you need to basically get the information that you need out of me to make sure that this is all fact-based, but still following the guidelines. And just with that, I ended up with way better CV that I was able to put together myself. Claude was basically able to uncover and frame my achievements in a very compelling way. Some achievements which I didn't even think about before, but based on those guidelines, it interviewed me and got those achievements out of me and then framed it in very compelling but still truthful way on the CV. Then it was about customizing it for specific jobs. So I basically gave it a job description and said, hey, for this job description, customize the CV, highlight the stuff that is the most relevant for this job. And from there, the system kind of very quickly started expanding as I was iterating and applying for more and more jobs with this system. So first the obvious, I asked it to customize the CV to fit basically for a specific job based on the job description. Then I added a cover letter. So I also asked it to create another file where it would collect all my past experiences called like a experience bang. And basically that file had all the history of that interview and of all the context I could give it about what were the past jobs that I did, just in a simple text file. And then whenever it was drafting a new cover letter, it took from that text file and applied whatever was relevant to the cover letter. Then I thought, hey, wait a minute. Anyway, I need to research this company to understand what they are exactly doing. And if I'm going to interview, I need to understand who they are. So I said, Claude, hey, even before we get to the cover letter and CV, whenever I give you a new job description, first research this company and tell me what this company is doing. Then it expanded into, hey, if you know what this company is doing and you have this job description, tell me, based on what you know about me, how good fit I am for this company. And then I also asked it if there are any shortcomings of me fitting to this job that I might still have relevant experience for, that is just still not there in the experience bank. Then you can ask me to give more detail about that so that we can update the profile and the experience bank can always get updated. Then also the AI, of course, has a specific writing style. Like we know all these like M dashes and stuff, which I'm really not a big fan of because it just shows that it was written by AI. So over time, I created specific writing style rules, again, stored in another text file. Just in plain text, I asked Claude, hey, write down that I don't like to use M dashes, that I don't like to use semicolons and all these things. And these specific sentence structures, which reveal that it's very much AI synthesized, so that it would feel like a more natural text. And I didn't catch everything at first, but as I was going through more cover letters, through more CVs, I was adding rules, and over time, it started creating a text which I was really satisfied with. By application 546, it knew my voice quite well, and it was writing to a similar voice or style that I felt like pretty well matches to what I would write. So, I just wanted to make a note here, something that I didn't mention before when I was recording this. I might sound a bit too confident maybe in that clip, but the reality is that this system is not perfect. Even though I try to improve the tone and voice it's writing the text, it is still generated by AI. So I really try to treat it as a first draft and then go further and make edits to the text myself. And overall, I just want to give like a disclaimer here that, this is something that has worked for me. This is something that I made for myself and found it helpful, but this might not be the case for you, and that's totally okay. You might think that I'm total stupid dumbass for using AI for something like this, and you know what? That's fair. If that's so, I'm happy to hear constructive feedback. But that's enough of theory. Now let's try it on a specific job description and see how it works in practice. Alright, so for the purpose of this demo, I found a job in Berlin. Not that I'm playing in Berlin, but just to demonstrate this. So what I would usually do is, if I find a job that I want to apply, I would just take this and copy paste all of this job description. I haven't read it, but I think it will work fine for this demo. And then I go to cursor where my Claude Code lives, and I would just say new job at Mondu. Here is the job description, and I put it there. All right. I just realized that I totally did not explain how this AI knows what to do now after I gave it a job description. If you are not familiar with Claude Code, this might seem very, very confusing. Basically, for each project in Claude Code, you can create instructions file which the AI will read every time it starts a new chat. And in this instruction file called claude.md, which is essentially just a text file, I just described in plain English how I want this system to work, how it should go through these stages, and what it should do at each stage. Now let's get back to it. So now it's figuring out all the stuff that it wants to research, and it's asking me permission to go to these web pages, so I will approve. So now you can see it's creating a new text file, company research. Alright, so after a few minutes, we basically got from Claude a research on the company. It tells me a bit who they are, what they do, what is the product surface, And also highlights actually, which I didn't notice before, that this is a maternity cover for around 14 months. So usually if there would be anything that I would like to know more, I would now ask it to give me even more detail on that. But for now, I will just say, okay, go ahead and go to the next stage. And also actually, before we continue, you can see that here it created a new in the folder structure, it created a new folder with this job, and it saved the company research file. So it's like just a text markdown file where it saves all the stuff it researched, so it can access that later. It doesn't get lost if I start a new chat. And then also it saved the job description here so that it's saved for reference when I'm preparing for interviews or for any time later. But now we can go and continue with the next stage. All right, so again, after a few minutes, Claude gave me the fit analysis of how I fit in this position. So it actually also saved a new file here, but it gives me summary here in the chat, where I'm strong, where I'm weaker. So I will tell Claude to continue to the next stage. It's around 18 minutes since I started, so Claude took some time to write this. But now you can see that basically it drafted the cover letter and it summarized what it did and the CV as well. And then what I would usually do is I would go to those files. So maybe first CV. So this is a customized CV for this role. I would review this. I would look also at the cover letter and see it. And I would maybe now iterate a bit maybe some things I don't like, or I think they could be done better. So I would tell Claude, hey, like this feels off. Let's make some adjustments. And until I'm basically happy with it. So this can take anywhere between like 10 minutes to 3 hours if I really want to make it to my very high satisfaction level. And once I'm happy with these drafts, then I would ask Claude Code to generate the PDF, at least out of the CV. If the cover letter needs to be submitted as a standalone file, I would ask it to generate the PDF as well. So we can go ahead and do that now. So it took additional 1 or 2 minutes and it generated the PDF. So we can actually look at that. So here I am in the actual folder. On it you can see that it generated the CV in a PDF, and then this is basically ready to submit. I haven't done that many applications before, but I think I did around maybe 8 applications, and out of that I had 0 interviews just from the application. I got only 1 interview, which was based on a person that I knew in that company. But later I did around 11 applications and I got 2 interviews out of that. Of course, the sample size is not that big, so it would be misleading to draw strong conclusions from this. But I do feel that I was able to create a lot higher quality and way better customized and fitting applications to specific roles than before, and also in a lot less time. Over time, this system also naturally extended to the first stages of the job application process. So I also started it using for preparation for interviews. Since Claude Code already had all the context, the job description, the research of the company, my profile, it knew the situation very well. So then I can ask it, hey, help me prepare for the interview. And then it can quite well estimate what are the questions that can come up and can help me prepare for that. And then after interviews, what I like to do is I just like to sit down immediately after the interview when everything is fresh and just note down everything that happened in the interview. All my reflections, what went well, what didn't go so well, what things they were asking. And then feed that everything back into this system and say, hey, save it as the interview debrief. And then that can help me for the future interviews to basically find my weakness points where I can improve in the interviews, and just overall helps me to learn from my mistakes. So to summarize, I think there is a really big difference between using just regular ChatGPT or even Claude as a chat, where yes, today you can even feed it files and it can read files, but it cannot write files. And I think this is such a key game changer. When Claude Code is able to write all these files, whether it is whether it is the CV, cover letter, and then generate the PDF out of it as well. It saves so much time. And more importantly, it's able to work and edit with all that context on its own. In regular chat, the context gets lost between different chats, or even as you progress in the chat, what happened in the beginning gets forgotten. But here, all the important information is saved in all the key files, and that way this system works really well. And as I apply for more and more jobs, this system in a way compounds. It gets better and better because it learns more about me and my experience, more gets saved into the experience bank. It learns more about the writing style that I want. And then yes, in the beginning, I need to invest into clarifying the guidelines and making the guidelines how it needs to work. But after some time, this really pays back as the process gets faster and faster. This has been my system that I started working, has been very helpful for me. Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments on this. And yeah, I think this can work not just for job applications. This can work for anything where you need to work with context. And yeah, I hope it can be useful in any way. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.